Dummies out here.
Well, this ain't one of them. Okay. Whatever was done in the past, that's where it should stay.
Sometimes I don't think that you realize how the past can still hurt.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black But 91. We are talking to you guys about Love and Marriage DC. We're going to be breaking down season 2, episode 4. I think episode 3 even, sorry, I should say. Right? And we are breaking down this latest episode. It's been crazy, I won't lie to you, because I think there were some key parts in this episode that were to do with parenting, Jamie and Ashley. Two different sides of the coin, and we got to see how Ashley had to deal with her mum, and we also got to see how Jamie got to handle little Jamie, and when he's being corrected, how does he take that on board as well. So we're going to break down some stuff on this episode. Hope you guys enjoy and you can take something from it as well, but I'm not doing it alone. I'm joined by my co-star Jay, and she'll be helping me break these episodes down as well over the coming weeks. But this episode was insightful, and I think we both got a lot to give in this episode in terms of what happened. So yeah, Jay, what was your kind of just sentiment and thoughts about this episode overall?
It's picking up better from last week. Last week felt like a little filler, especially compared to everything that was going on. Granted, last week we got to see little Jamie move into manhood and move off to not little Jamie, sorry, Jason move off into manhood. And of course, Big Jamie and Little Jamie's blow up was intense at the end, but the rest of the show was kind of But oh wait, that was the beginning of the last one. But the rest of the episode was kind of with the girls and the ladies. But this episode was a lot because we're actually getting into the lives of a lot of these characters, because last season we didn't really get into what makes them them. We got to know who they are, but now we're getting to how they became who they are today. And Ashley's story, when I say that hit home, because like you know, Kojo, with the things I've gone through with my own biological. So when I say that hit home on trying to get the apology to be seen, to be heard from your parent, I was like, yeah, I'm with you, sis, on some points, but I'm here on advice, and I get it. I'm probably about the same age she is. It clicked on me the same way. It was just like, I gotta let it go, because I'm not going to get that apology I'm seeking. Because the issue is we're fighting about feelings instead of experiences. And with feelings, it's always going to be I feel, you feel, they feel, and we're never going to agree on it. But I think if Ashley, because her mom is at least coherent enough to have a conversation. So if Ashley speaks on the experiences she didn't have with her mom, it might be a better segue to her getting that apology that she's looking for from her. Because right now it's, I feel this way, and her mom is looking at it, well, you look at you turned out good, right? I did something right. And from the standpoints of your dad, have you explained how your dad was there, but he was a provider only in a sense of financial and not so much emotionally. And that's what her mom is at that same stance is, I provided for you. The house was paid for. You had things to take care of. You was good. But emotionally, Ashley saying, but you weren't there for me. And that's what I need, is the emotional, especially as a girl, 16 years old. I needed to learn from a woman how to be a woman, and you weren't there. And that's one other thing that hit home for me as well, is the fact that having a parent choose another partner over you, that is so heartbreaking to us as kids, when you realize that your parent is openly choosing a person over taking care of you fully. And so I was with her on all of that. And I mean, her mom could read the book and still probably never get it, And I think what would be best for Ashley, which helped me in the long run, was I said prayers for my mom. I said prayers for myself. Those prayers were both forgiveness prayers. Forgiving my mom for all that I felt she did to me and the experiences I felt like she lacked on giving me. And then the forgiveness for myself for holding on to a pain and a hurt and an anger towards her for so long. And when I tell you, once I said amen, everything was lifted up off of me. I didn't feel no remorse towards my mom. I actually felt more love for my mom, and I became more understanding of she just wasn't in a good space. She was young herself, and it just started hitting me that I'm never going to get the apology I feel like I need, but I can still love my mom for bringing me into this world because she didn't have to do that much. And I can move forward in a better space with her and not feel bad because I'm steady fighting for that apology. I'm fighting for that time back. I'm fighting for those experiences that I'm still never going to get, even if I get the apology. That's the real thing. You want the experiences. You don't totally want the apology is really just the start of it. But that's not the close of it. You want the experiences. And I just had to chalk it up as I'm not going to get them back. That time is gone. It's wasted. What I can do now is make new experiences moving forward. And so I think her realizing this and starting to close that chapter in her life and move forward, that's going to be a lot beneficial and helpful for her as far as raising her own children.
I'll play the clip and then we'll continue the conversation. That was good stuff, man. That was a good breakdown. People don't know. We're about to get deep tonight. I hope they're ready because we're going to chop it up deeply.
I think you carry around a lot of guilt from when I was 16, when you left.
Okay.
I know you have made up your side of the story that doesn't match with anybody else's.
It's the truth.
It's not the truth. It's your truth that you've made up.
Okay. When that time came around.
Well, I think, you know what? You nailed one of my points that I was going to make. And I was like, I'm not sure if I'm making the right point, but you said the exact same point, which is around the feelings aspect versus what's actually happened, right? Because I think at one point I'm listening to it and I'm going, I understand where Ashley's coming from, right? She is trying to let her mom know this is what happened. The problem is that even though and because a person's being so hard-headed with the situation, telling them this is what happened, it might not open the person up to the accountability that you actually want from them, right? And so I was like, I'd rather see her, and it might not even change anything. It might not. But I'd rather see her language be more focused on, this is how you made me feel. I felt abandoned. I felt like you didn't care about me. I felt like, because then the mom can respond by saying, that's not what I really was trying to do. And you can say, well, that's how it made me feel. You know what I mean? Like because what we're debating now is actions. And absolutely right. Her mom did abandon her. You go and live with another man. I'm sorry. You abandoned your kid. Okay. They were 16. Okay. They were not grown ass adults. You went to live with another boyfriend, etc. So you chose a man over your daughter. And this does happen to people. So by the way, this is not a unique necessary situation. This does happen to people. And so, and I think it also makes sense, maybe why she doesn't talk about this, how it made me feel, is because feelings may be harder to also talk about, because it means reenacting, reliving, and actually really feeling what you're actually going through from Ashley's side. But yeah, no, the mother was indignant that, she didn't do any wrong. And there's many parents like that who are indignant that they did nothing wrong. They don't see you can point it out as black as day, and they will tell you this white. Literally look at the black piece of paper and say it's white.
It's in our community and the most, because I don't really know other communities to know, but I notice in our community the most, our parents love to say that, well, look at you. Look how you turned out. You okay, right? It's that from Hangover. Did you die? But did you die? So you didn't die, so you're okay. Don't worry about it. You're good. You're strong. Are you happy with yourself? Well, then I did good. Give me some praise. But it's like, no, I'm fighting things that I can't talk about all the time. And she got into it later in the episode. I suffered mental issues because of this, because I was transitioning alone. 16, Yeah, we as women bloom early sometimes, but we're still developing. From that time we start developing all the way up until sometimes our late teens, maybe early 20s, we're in a whole transitioning phase of hormones, you know, body changes, different things is going on, and we need guidance. We need a lot of guidance in that time. We don't know how to properly groom ourselves. Some of us don't. Nobody taught us how to go through womanhood properly. You know, how to keep hygiene up sometimes. We need all of those things. And not alone the aspect of how do I think as a woman now? How do I behave as a woman now? She gave them the skills to be able to cook and go to the store and clean up after themselves. Yes. Those are basic childhood skills. Pick up your toys behind yourself. You know, grab your books, put your books on the shelf. You learn that in toddler age. You learn that through grade school because they make you do it at the end of the day. When it's time to go home, you got to clean up all your area. But those are not the things that we need when we're girls growing into womanhood. We need our moms to show us how to actually be a full-time woman. So that's what Ashley was sitting here fighting for. It's like, I needed that emotional connection from you. I needed you to sit here and guide me as a woman transitioning into my queendom. And you weren't there. I needed somebody to talk to when a boy broke my heart. I needed somebody to talk to when this and that was happening with the girls at my school. Because I needed your experiences. You've been here already. And that's what us as parents are. We're experiences for our children to learn from. And when we remove ourselves, we remove valuable information from our children. And so that's probably why she became so defensive. That's probably why she's so stand up right now. That's why she has this wall in front of her, because the person that we feel like we're supposed to be there for us the most is the person that abandoned her first. That's a hurtful thing for a child to go through, like seriously. Did I lose Kojo altogether, y'all? I think I lost him for a second. Yeah, you working hard. Your stuff, your equipment dying on you.
My internet tried to go down on me, bro. Internet was trying to die on me. So
Hey.
I've used my phone. So yeah, apologies about that. So what were you saying, Jay? Apologies.
No, I just finished up that, you know, what Ashley is fighting for was all those lost experiences her mom should have been sharing with her as a person that has been there before. And I was saying to the audience that we as parents, we need to be there for our children because our experiences help guide our children. What we went through helped guide them, whether they go through it again behind us or navigate around what we went through. They need to hear our experiences. That's why the Bible is here as a reference. Those are people's experiences. So it helps us understand how to navigate in God's world, how to navigate as being a human. He didn't just put us down here and say, well, figure it out. He gave us testimonies. As parents, we have testimonies for our children. Now, do they always listen to them? Not all the time, but some of them hear it and they might ignore it. And they just got to learn from their own experiences. But that's what life is based off of. It's just creating new moments to learn from. And so I think that was like her biggest fight with her mom.
Yeah, I think with obviously Ashley's situation as well, I think when listening to her, you can, and she actually started breaking down a little bit towards the end as well when she was talking to her mom. So that was hard to watch because I know that it was hard and difficult to have that conversation. I know she at one point she's like, "Mom's," I think what took me out is the audacity, because the mom. I wonder if I can get the clip for you. The mom literally, you know, she was trying to tell her mom like, "Hey, look, you know, you did X, Y, Z." The mom was like, and I think back to your point about, she was indignant that, I love you, and the Lord knows I love you, and no one else can take it away from you. Your husband can't do that. Your kids can't do that. I was like, wait, ma, where are we going? Where are we going?
Woo.
I need you to back the frick up. What's going on here? Like, sis, this ain't it. This ain't it. Yeah, I think I got a little clip actually because it was such a powerful thing.
My brother, my sister, more than anything in this world. If you don't know it, God knows it, and everybody else knows it.
I'm not saying you don't love me or love us. I've never doubted that. I've never said that you don't. If I'm telling you something,
Baby, Mom took off the glasses too to get ready to say what she was about to say, because I know what she said, Kojo, was not your husband, not your kids. I'm the only one who's going to be there for you. I said, oh.
That's when I said, ooh, baby, you toxic. Mama, you toxic. Okay? Mama, you toxic. Okay? Someone's going to tell you because someone's going to tell you toxic. Okay? Like, I get it. You're her mom. And it's like you're, again, covering up the real issue here, which is that you weren't there. You know what I mean? Like, and she doesn't even give, at least with Scrappy's mom gave us a little bit of justification. Hey, I was on the streets. I was trying to make this happen, this happen. But with her, she ain't even making that excuse. She's telling you basically what you said happened did not actually happen. Like, I need you to realize it didn't actually happen. So, and then the part where she said, "Oh, I left you with your god brother. I left you with your sister." Like, babe, you didn't leave her with, I left you with family. No, babe, you were supposed to be there. That was your daughter, and you left her at 16 by thinking that she was a grown-ass individual. Yeah, that was problematic.
Then you shorted her from what everybody else got because you left her with the older siblings, apparently. And that means they got a full experience of you. They got to go through it with you. But you just left her. That will create an abandonment issue almost no matter what age during childhood. It's just, you turned your back on me and now you're telling me you're going to be the only one for me. You already proved that's not going to be it. You already proved that. So that's even crazy for that to come out your mouth. But okay, you can have it. Do you?
That'll make you feel better.
If that helps you sleep at night, sis, I'll hear you. But that's part of the reason why Ashley, I know that's why Ashley broke down, because for me, I kind of broke down with her in that moment. It was just one of those moments where nothing I say is going to matter. You're standing your ground on what it is, and I just got to accept that you're not going to see my point. You're not going to see my side. And so I got to move forward. I just got to move forward. And it hurts because I would love for you to be closer to me. But for my own protection, I probably can't put you closer to me.
It means I have to now manage expectations of this relationship. And that means I have to put certain boundaries in place. I can only relate to you in part, not in full, because there's going to be parts of you that are not going to be able to relate to the past. It means also that Ashley has to also now relate to her mother on a present tense and not necessarily a past tense, because anytime they go into the past, if it's negative, the mom is going to deny it. Do you know what I mean? So you almost have to kind of gloss over if you want to. If we're talking about keeping that relationship, trying to keep the relationship as sweet as possible, you're almost having to forego what happened in the past completely, and just focus almost on the good times that your mum did supply, which sounds so, why should you forget? Why should you have to let it go? The reality is, again, it's not even for her, it's for yourself. Because staying in that position where, and again, no one can tell you how long you have to be in that position for, but staying in that position where you're consistently trying to get the approval of, or at least the forgiveness, or at least get the fact your mom to admit her wrongs. She's so deep in it, she can't admit it. So what do? You don't want to get stuck there, So at a point in time, you're going to have to find your time and your place and go, yeah, this is enough. It's enough for me. You're not going to admit this. And if I want to continue a relationship, I need to be able to just go and say, I'm going to have to forget that part of life. And it is what it is. and move with you according to what I know now, which
Just forget it, or
unfortunately,
accept that you love where you are, or who you are today, and accept that that part of your life is the reason why you are who you are today. If you can get to that no regret phase with yourself, I have no regrets, then it's easier to accept other people's faults when they shortchange you like this. Like, okay, in my case, I told you the story the other night of how it kind of went down. But in my case, it was twice my mom did that to me. The same exact thing left me for a man. So when I was younger, before we had to go to court, she left probably about age 1 or 2 or whatnot. And when she had to go to court, she didn't show up, I told you. And then when I got into high school, we started trying to build a relationship, and she did it then again for a man. So that's why I said I got where Ashley is coming from, because that's what created my abandonment issues. That's what built my tough terrier. Like, you can be in my life or you don't have to be. I'm good either way.
yeah,
I'm gonna be all right.
I'm gonna survive. Yep,
Mhm.
I ain't gonna die here today.
Yeah, I'm gonna be all right. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what's good with Ashley's dad, but fortunately for me, I did have my dad. So that gave me something. I didn't feel totally abandoned, but it did create those issues in me that I had resentment for her a long time. But I would still let her back in my life. I would still let her back in my life because I wanted that relationship, but it was hurting me more. And I have this saying that I developed because of her is emotions are personal. You will be happy, you can be sad, you can be hurt, you can be crying, you can be everything under the sun, but you're the only one that's going to be it. All these people that did it to you, going on about their business. They're not worried about how you feel, what you feeling or not. So it's up to you to bring yourself back up to those happy places. It's up to you to make yourself feel good, because those people are not going to do it. They hurt you and keep on going. So you can sit in the emotions of that hurt, or you can strap your boots up and get to walking and stuff. So
It's the reality. It's I mean, that conversation. In fact, let me play a little clip in between that time, so you can even shift a bit more.
I shouldn't have had to tell somebody I needed help. I should have been getting help. Yes, when I'm 17, 16, 17, going into 12th grade, I should have my mom there for me.
I've always been there for you. I've always supported you. I've always
Have you all?
Yeah. So I just think to myself with Ash, this aspect, the mom was even saying that I paid for classes, I supported you, I believed in you. And I'm not saying that she didn't, because that's not what we're disputing. We're disputing the fact that you abandoned me. And we dispute the fact that, how it made her feel and what it's contributed towards Ash becoming who she is, like you said as well. And I think she came to that conclusion herself by saying, I can see how I'm becoming independent, had to always handle my own, parent not necessarily being there. I've had to basically do it all myself. And then the mum kind of coupled it with, and this is where it started getting a bit dark, because when the mum started coupling it with, well, you were difficult. That ain't the reason why you went and chose your boyfriend. So let's not make that the issue. Again, you're deflecting from the real issue, in terms of accountability. And this is what, listen, some people are really not going to be accountable. Some people are really going to fail to see their shortcomings. Some people are really going to see that they got it wrong. Oh, sorry. They actually got it wrong, and that they actually didn't do the right thing. And so, like you said earlier on, Jay, she's so focused on the money aspect that she doesn't realize her emotional capacity, which tells me that something similar or something along the same lines happened to her, and she was unable to break the cycle. And this is what we're talking about now. It's generationally breaking the cycle, because you can stay angry at that parent, you can be annoyed at that parent, you can be frustrated and but you have to realize you're gonna have to break the pattern, because that parent also probably was abandoned, or maybe that parent was not given emotional care. You know, the mother probably was told, you know, get up and get on with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't complain about these things. You got food in your stomach, you got clothes on your back, and you got a roof over your head. You don't need to be complaining. And maybe that was the rhetoric she had. And so she's passing that on down onto Ashley. What Ashley needs to do is not pass that message on. It's to say that message dies with me. You know what I mean?
Well, clearly through her parenting style that Quick is complaining about, she has broke that cycle, because that's why she's holding on so tight to make sure to give him everything she felt she was lacking. She don't want to miss out on that with him. So I get her parenting style now. I get why she still feels compelled to wake him up in the morning and stuff. But we have to find a balance. And that's the struggle sometimes. We break one cycle to jump into another cycle.
That's true.
And so it's going to be a struggle for her. And I don't want to say it's going to be a struggle for her, because she might not be struggling, but she will have to navigate finding a balance on being both tough as her mom was, where she felt she was tough, but loving as the mom that she wished she had. And she can do that and bring those two together. She'll do a good job of raising her children.
I agree. Can't lie to you. I agree. All right. Let's shift it. All right. Let's shift to another place. Clifton and Joi. Yes. I actually enjoyed their conversation, because there was some interesting conversation that was going on, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Clifton and Joi.
Well, that's even better. So now you don't have to dream about it, because it's going to come true.
That's so sweet. But that also means I never really wanted to have a wedding.
So Joi didn't actually want a wedding necessarily. It's so interesting, because I feel like I know this energy, right? Because Joi. Oh, I wasn't even going to say you're lucky. I wasn't going to say that.
I know you don't know it from me, but
yeah, I was like, I mean, because I'm a person too. I don't want a big wedding per se, but she doesn't want to get. It's not that she doesn't want to get married. She gave an answer that she doesn't want to prepare for it. But it's the fact that I don't think she really. I think Joy's, like, when I look at Joy's loyalty, it's giving me. I remember this person. I'm trying to remember what they're. But her loyalty is like so fierce when it comes to Joi, right? Joi is like, I don't play with the loyalty aspect. But it also means that she keeps the circle very tight and very small. And so I was wondering, I was like, where do I remember seeing this particular behavior? Because the person doesn't want to necessarily expand their friendship circle per se. You know what I mean? They can be cordial, cool, but they don't need to expand their friendship circle. And
Shay,
also,
I would say Shay in a lighter version from Put a Ring on It, because she didn't want the big wedding either.
Yeah, she wouldn't be it either. I don't. Joi. I mean, Joi has said that she doesn't mind the wedding, but at all, really, it's more about the fact that. But when she said about, she made that comment about, you know, we've done Ready to Love, we've done post nuptial. No, we've done the
posing on the TV.
Proposing on TV. What's going to be for us? Because I believe that Joi is fiercely, you know, keep things tribal, keep things camp, keep things within. You know what I mean? And that's how she functions. I think that's her safety realm. You know what I mean? So she can be very tigerish when she needs to. And again, that comes with her, this is my safety space. You don't mess with that. And so I think this was also part of that as well. That's part of her safety. But yeah, it was interesting to hear the conversation. What was your thoughts?
You looked at it from that angle, and I like that angle as well. And I looked at it from the entertainment angle. And and it's so funny. I forget that she is in the entertainment angle, but I looked at it from that side, because a lot of times celebrities, and you know, she's not A-list or nothing like that, big time or whatever, not to take away any of her accolades, but celebrities do all of these things for the camera to be seen, you know, to promote this, promote that. Everything has an agenda. And I looked at it from her having a real human moment of, I don't have an agenda. I just want a relationship. I want you. I don't need to showcase this to the world. That's not the important part to me. I'm not pleasing these people. I'm trying to please you.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like sometimes us as people, we do this. The wedding is for everybody else. Let's be honest.
Yep, I
The
agree.
wedding really is for everybody else. And I'm with her on that. Like, why do I need to do that? My whole plan is somewhere along Corey's 5 years, but it's 5 years after we married already. Like at the 5th year anniversary, we can do the big thing. Because for me, then I know it's at least real enough to last 5 years. I can wait to the 10-year anniversary, but you know, some of my peoples might not live that long. So we got to do it earlier. But you know, if I don't have to do it in the beginning, because and I don't know if she's seen the things that I've seen, but I've seen a lot of people do the big wedding and then a quick divorce. You do all this showcasing and everything, and you're doing all this, and then turn around and it's a divorce.
This is up. Mm-hmm.
And now the divorce has to be public as much as the wedding was. You know, and then if you're a private life type person, I'm showing you how we fell in love. I done showed us getting proposed to. Now I'm showing you the wedding. Now I got to show you every day of our lives. Then we got to walk through the babies and all that. What is for us? What is for me? Where do I get my space to breathe? Why can't I have a Beyonce thing where you see me when you see me, and then the rest of my life you got to speculate on? Can we have that? Very few celebrities get that, you know, and sometimes very few of us get that in our own world with our families. I don't want to do everything for everybody. I want to have a relationship that's for me. And that was for me the most real moment and vulnerable moment of joy I've ever seen. That moment really humanized her to a whole nother level, because I was with her on that. It was like, it kind of made me question Clifton a little bit. Like, who are you in this for? Like, bruh, I getting a paycheck for this and all this, but we could sneak off right now and go get married. And then later on, if you want to still have this, extravagant wedding for everybody, that's fine. But I'm good for just waking up and say, okay, today's the day. Because the rest of our lives, it's just going to be me and you. It's just going to be me, you, and the kids. It's not going to be this blog over there. It's not going to be those news people over there. It's not this TV show, these producers. It's not going to be all these people in our days, in our ins and outs of our days. So let's start our journey of how it's going to be throughout majority of it. Just us. Nothing big, nothing, all the extras and all that stuff. I don't want to do all that. I don't want the headache. I don't want to be a bridezilla.
I don't want to go crazy. I don't want to have to go upside your head.
Right. You might call it off. She might have been watching Love is Blind. She's like,
Don't let me come over there.
You get all the way to this altar and be like, nah.
No, but I do get what you're saying there, in the sense of like Joy is low key and wants everything low key. But Clifton just, Clifton wants to. Part of what she said started reminding me of Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith. I was like, but then she said she don't want a wedding necessarily, not the actual. Well, she doesn't want a wedding, not necessarily the marriage. But
yeah.
It did sound. I was like, oh, this sounds a little bit like Chris. Sounds a little bit like Will and Jada. Jada told you that she didn't want that marriage, and then you go and do the marriage anyway. And I was like, I hope that's not what's going to be the case with these two. I hope that's not going to turn into that situation where you're like, trying to expect her to do, do, and then you're like, you ain't doing it. But the reality of this situation is, that look, go for it. Yeah.
No. Finish your thought.
I think for me, in terms of, like, I agree with what you're saying. So I think for me, in the terms of Joy and Clifton, how do I put this? I want to put it in the most succinct way. So simply put,
because I think we're on the same wave right now.
Maybe you can take the thought and see. We'll connect it.
I don't know if you're thinking about their alignment, because I'm thinking it's off a bit. And this is the start of it. Because to me, I'm kind of like, you guys should have kind of had this kind of talk already. I don't
That's
know.
exactly right.
And I thought maybe you guys are rehabbing this talk for the camera or something, but
Camera, yeah, because this should not be a conversation that's happening. Shouldn't be a problem. Do you know what I mean? Like, because surely when you guys started talking, this would have been one of the conversations you guys had from early on, the jump. You know what I mean? So the marriage situation, you would have known, she wants a small wedding, and she doesn't want to, and quote unquote small wedding, if that's actually, if she wants even the wedding at all, and whether she's compromising a little bit just for Clifton to have a bit of the wedding as well. So
Mhm.
I was making a comparison between her and Jada Pinkett and Will, because Jada didn't want the wedding. She similarly just wanted small thing where her and Will, go off whatever and they do their thing. And it sounded like to me like Joy wanted the same thing, really and truly.
Mhm.
She never really wanted to get wedded. That's not her thing. Just wants to enjoy her life with you and be quote unquote life partners, right? And it's almost as if that taking that person into marriage.
And I don't see, and simply Grace, since simplistic Grace said it herself too, that they had their conversation early. I've done this to people that I've been serious about, like, hey, how you envision your being married? Do you envision being married at all? Let me know. And off top, it's like, I'd give you the same thing. I don't really see a big wedding. I see waking up one day and saying, this is the day, literally. And if you tell me, oh, well, I've been dreaming of having my 14, 15 brides, groomsmen, and we have this big celebration and this, I'm kind of like, okay, we probably not going to work, because this is going to be a start of problems. One of us going to be compromising for the other too much. And I'm not saying it's a deal breaker, because we can probably agree somewhere in the middle, like, okay, friends or family or whatever. But I see that it could be start of problems, that you're on one side of the spectrum and I'm on the other, and we're going to have trouble getting to that middle ground of everything going forward. And I know that looks like a small thing to a lot of people, like, oh, you would end a relationship over disagreement of how you would want to be married. But it's a potential yes for me, because I'm just seeing futuristic wise, we might have some bigger problems once we get past the I do's. So, yeah, I don't want to wish ill on their relationship, but I think they need to sort that out ASAP.
I agree. You shouldn't be on different terms on a subject like that when it's so vital as well. And that, like I said, that's the beginning of trouble in paradise, when you have to not really see eye to eye on this. Like, I really do think Joy was kind of tiptoeing a little bit with the conversation. I was like, babe, just tell him you don't want a wedding at all.
Mhm.
Like, it doesn't sound like you want a wedding. You want a small wedding. It sounds like you don't want a wedding at all.
Yeah, courthouse
Courthouse, quick thing. Yeah, you
or
don't want
long
that.
partnership, but you got to
You know
be
what I mean?
honest.
Yeah, you gotta be honest, because I don't want you to have that regret later on down the line. Like, it's Will Smith and Jada all of a sudden again. Just be true to yourself. If you don't want a marriage, be honest. It's cool. You don't want a marriage. I'm
I
sure
mean,
she'll
if
come and
you,
tell us that she didn't mean it like that, but
yeah, but I'm just
she
saying, if you
does.
want to be Will and Jada and you want to practice loving somebody unconditionally, then do you, boo? Because you're gonna have to,
You have to suffer some things.
you're gonna go through some things. But I mean, marriages, that relationships is that you go through some things, but you don't want to start off on bad terms with your partner, because and it could just be me on being realistic and not trying to see the good out of it, but I feel like once you start that road, it just gets deeper and deeper into that rabbit hole, and it gets harder. It's like quicksand. It just gets harder and harder to get out of it. And yeah, granted, we didn't get to see much of the backstory of how they got together on Brown Sugar, but it gives me that couple when what's her name? I don't know why I can't think of her name right there, but the light skinned one with the pretty eyes that was in The Best Man playing Quincy's, and Tay Diggs got together. I don't know why her name escapes me right now. Nicole Ari Parker. There it is.
Yeah.
When they got together and their relationship was all great at the beginning, and it was this, and then like it looked like a year or two passed and they're not even speaking. They're walking in the room and they on two different sides. because we're not aligned prior. And it be these little things that start to add up. And once it add up, I think, what was it, couples retreat when we was doing, and they was putting all those blocks in between them, and it started building that wall in between them. That's all those little things. Now you got a wall between you two, because we're not addressing what needs to be addressed early on in the relationships to get us in alignment, so we can keep our window open to see each other at all times.
You didn't tell no lies. All right, let's focus on this last scene. I say last scene, but second to last scene. Let's see if I can get it up. Yeah, there we go.
Message is the messenger.
I had a conversation with Jamie about Lord Jamie's mental.
Right.
He says that he's not worthy to be here.
He's being a bum.
That sounds like a little bit of drink was getting into his spirit, but you know, he calls his son a bum, and then you know, the rest of the crew tried to correct him. Dita Quick and Ashley tried to correct him. Arena herself and the woman next to her tried to correct him. Everybody tried, but he wasn't having it, and that's his biggest issue. That's his blind spot. He doesn't realize. He doesn't listen. Mm-hmm. He has an idea in his head and he runs with it rather than actually listening to what the other person's going to bring to the table. So yeah, that was Jamie at his most aloof best.
Now, you know I'll play a little bit of devil's advocate for Jamie in this time. Okay. I'll play a little bit of devil's advocate. He's been drinking. I won't say he's drunk. He's been drinking. So sometimes when we're not in our coherent state, it's not the best time to have a conversation about it. But I think it could have been brought up again later on. Not by Arena, because he's just not going to hear it, because he's just going to think she's just, nagging, nitpicking, or whatever it is. But by Ashley and the other lady later on in a conversation. Hey, you remember the other night when we were having a discussion about little Jamie's mental health? Well, you said something that bothered me in that moment, and it triggered me. And let me tell you why. Because trying to say it to him right here, right now in this environment with alcohol involved and stuff, we know how sometimes people just don't hear you. That alcohol is louder in their system than you are. So I would give him that much, that the alcohol was in him. He wasn't going to hear nobody. But with that said, drunk tongues or a drunk mind speaks like a sober tongue. That's what the saying says. You think about this boy in a manner that is damaging to his health. The conversation is around his mental health. And the first thing you come out to say is he's a bum. Listen, I understand about having tough skin. Some of us have it. Some of us just don't. Some of us just get our parents and be like, that's the way they talk. But even though just that's the way to talk, sometimes it still hurts. And if he was willing enough to come to his mother and say, hey, I am having trouble with my mental, you got to take that serious. Mm-hmm. Because people unalive themselves because other people are not listening to them when they're expressing. Most people that unalive themselves have been trying to give clues and hints that they're struggling to people, but we are so self-consumed with what we have going on, we ignore all of their signs. And then we look around, I didn't know what they was on. They seemed so happy. They seen this. But when you really deep what was going on, you'll realize they weren't so happy. Yep. They were struggling. Yep. They were fighting to be happy around you, but never once did you check in and say, hey, how are you doing? No, really, how are you doing? And as parents, I'll go back to as parents, that's what we have to do. Because we put so much pressure on our kids sometimes. And I know people be, oh, we coddling these kids, we doing that or whatever. Yeah, we didn't get coddled. I get it. I get it. But that didn't take away from us having mental struggles either. We didn't have labels for it. That's the thing. They have labels now. They can figure it out. But if you had ADHD or ADD as a kid, oh, he's just hyper. He's mischievous. Or even to the back, he's a bad kid.
Yep.
We didn't have labels for all of that. So now that they have labels, now we're calling them because we understanding what our issues were. And that's the thing. His issue is still our issue. We just learned how to reprogram it or push it into another aspect of our brain and use that energy differently. Sometimes they haven't unlocked that power yet. You just got to help them unlock it. But you got to walk with them. When they saying, if they're coming to you, telling you they have a mental issue, do not take that lightly. Because what's going to happen, and God forbid it does, the day something does happen, like they unalive themselves, you're going to be sitting here blaming yourself because you didn't pay attention. You didn't do what you needed to do in that moment. So while you have the opportunity, let's sort it out. It might not be a big thing. It might not even be a big thing to you, but to them, it is. So you got to sort it out with them and let them realize how small it really was or is. Or even if it's still a big thing, they can work through it. They can get through it. They can push through it. And I'm going to get a little religious right now, but this is what happens when we start taking God out of our programming.
That's very true.
Because that faith in self dies when God is not present. And I'll stop right there.
No, you're just hitting the nail on the head. I think with Jamie, he doesn't listen. He's so focused on one track that he's right, and the one track is his track. And if he says it, it's absolute truth. But the reality is that's not. You had four other people around that table who are trying to correct you that this might not be the best way to approach the situation. Time and season, forget that. Time and season also remember that as well. Where they are and what they're doing. And so with, Jamie, ranting and raving about how, little Jamie is spoiled and all this kind of stuff, it doesn't actually help move him along. Doesn't really help the relationship that you have with him already. And that's what Ashley was trying to point out, like, stop calling his names because that's what I got called, and the reality was that's not how I was. And so let's not repeat a situation. She jumps in, but Jamie ain't having it from nobody, and that tells me that pride is a very, very dangerous thing. It's a dangerous drug, because when people get it into their heads that they can't be wrong because of pride, and it might not necessarily be on that kind of level, but on a more microscopic level, subconscious level, in a sense of where you seem invulnerable to actually saying I'm wrong, or I don't have the answer for this, or I didn't see it from that point of view. And that invulnerability is what's going to cause a bigger gap and rift between him and his son. And the funny thing is, like I said, we've been seeing this from last season. We saw the inflexibility. We saw how he wanted to deflect. We saw how when he had to do the inner work, how quickly he unraveled, right? And then he showed his tail by, blaming someone else instead of taking someone else the issue, rather than actually taking some control and some accountability for himself. But then how he's dealt with little Jamie. If you're hearing him have mental thoughts, sir, this is not a time to try and be an African dad and try to be like, we don't do that here. Like, no, we do that here. We speak about people's mental health here. So you don't need to say that he would fake it. Why would he need to fake it?
Right. And I will go back to last week when we talked about it a little bit. I think what he's missing is little Jamie learns through positive feedback. If you keep pushing negative on him, he keeps just getting lower and lower and shrinking. And that's opposite of what you want him to do. That's the craziest part. You want him to grow. You want him to be big. You want him to be a man, yet you're shrinking him every turn. Every turn you're shrinking this man. We got to learn how to give positive feedback to our children. Sometimes, yes, it's okay to be honest. And sometimes the honesty is not going to be all nice and pleasantries all the time. But when we have to be honest, it's okay to sit there and reinforce that honesty with something positive, though. Hey, you effing up, but okay, let's figure out how to get this on track, because I know you better than this. That's that little bit of positivity that goes behind it, but it's that backhanded slap grandma always give you. You know, you cute, but you can fix yourself up. You do it backwards. You give them the positive first and the negative after. All we remember is the negative. The last thing we hear is the last thing we remember. That's it. That's what sticks into our brain. So I think if he reversed, hey, you messing up. I know you're a good kid, though. I know you got it in you to do what you need to do. He's gonna hear, I'm a good kid. I got it in me. The F out part is out the window. That part is gone. So I'm hoping the therapy, if they get it, if they got it, I hope it starts to make him realize that his dialogue, it's his delivery and his dialogue is off. It's not the love. We know he loves his son. That's why he's fighting so hard the way he is. But I think this is the only way he knows how to fight. You know, and it might be because of dealing with work co-workers and things. It might be part of childhood. I'm not really sure. But I think this is Big Jamie's only fighting style, is to come at you hard and rough and tough. But there's that thing called tough love. I'm going to give you the truth, but there's going to be love to follow it up. The tough comes first, the love comes second. So you remember the love. Let's see.
Yeah, we'll see if we can love that. Let's quickly jump to last kind of scene. I think it was just concerning their little this scene here, and see what people say.
I don't understand. Why is she not picking up the phone? Like,
She's upset right now.
Well, what is she upset about?
She's not upset with us, but she's probably upset with the situation. You know, we're just trying to enjoy your life. I know it's gonna be rough. I know it's gonna be.
I'm not you. I'm not you.
I just say you
your
was.
friendships are up. You have no real friends.
I have real friends, but
No, you.
Yo, that was a finisher. That was so rude. That was so rude. Old girl went low and said, I mean, he went low and she said, no, I'm going to go to hell. Okay with it? All right. I'm going to use it as the devil's footstool. Okay. I'm going to go that low.
Full speed.
Yeah. Trust me, daddy. I'm not going to let you play with me. Yeah, no. What was your thoughts to obviously to this scene here with with Ash and Quick? No real friends?
No real friends, no new friends, no old friends.
You ain't gonna have none, but
she hit the mama on her. You ain't got nobody but me.
Just gonna let you know.
Okay, seriously.
Y'all better recognize. Y'all better recognize.
Oh, she hit low, but I felt her in that moment. You know, it was one of those you don't understand. It was a mean way of saying you don't understand what I'm going through right now. So please just shh and let me think. Let me breathe. Let me figure this out. Because one, this is this woman's best friend, and you have allowed this whole party going on. And you haven't mentioned, is she okay? Not only did you not mention if she's okay, you don't know for sure if she's okay. Because we seen when you called, it went straight to voicemail. Ashley called, it went straight to voicemail. Don't know if the assistant got through to her, though we know she found out. So it's a lot of variables that's playing into this. I'm having a party. She's supposed to be at my party. She's my best friend since I was 16 years old. She's lived with me. So this is like my sister. This is my sister, my confidant, my mom. Like she was all of those things, and I'm all of those things for her. She's supposed to be here, yet she's in a car accident. Nobody seems to really know, and I'm not getting any answers. This is the wrong time for you to even breathe right now. Like, don't breathe in my direction. I'm sorry.
You breathe, you die.
You're going to find out where she is because you're
Hold
going
your
to
breath.
be next. Please don't. And I just think he went about it wrong. I personally
Left him
think
spare.
he went about it wrong. I understand why he was trying to do it, because he was trying to have her enjoy her night. But look how it ended. It still wasn't a good night. It still wasn't enjoyed. And now you're in the doghouse. So it's worse. It's worse than what you had thought. Like,
It got worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely feel like, and she warned him several times, like, hey, stop talking, because you're gonna get me frustrated and get me heated. I just didn't expect it to come out like that. But I think the reality was, Quick knew that, okay, do you know what, maybe I haven't done the right thing here. I think he kind of realized, it started dawning on him that he probably hasn't done the right thing. And because of the kind of relationship that she has with her friend, it would have been better for him to let her know from the very beginning, hey, this is what's happened to your friend. If we can get through to her, fantastic, we party on. If we can't, well, it looks like everyone's got to go home, or they got to enjoy it on our behalf. Either way, something should have been done to give her the opportunity to have a say in the situation, because it was her friend. And like I said, we didn't know if she was okay or not. We just assumed because of whoever said that she's okay. So she's okay. Just because she cried tears does not mean that, that she's okay. So yeah, I just felt like DJ Quick left himself spare here and open when he didn't take into account that maybe the party, the friend being here, would make the party lit. The fact that the friend is not here for the surprise birthday means we're gonna have to surprise her at wherever she's at. Okay, it means we have to take some time out and actually go to where she's at, so that she can also, again, because of the type of relationship that they have, how tight it is, that relationship is not to be taken lightly. You know what I mean? The part, and what it looked like, it felt like almost the part is more important than the friend for Ashley. And that's not going to go well with people that actually love their friends. So yeah, that wasn't a good thing in that respect.
Yeah. I know people can disagree or whatever, and we could agree to disagree on it. But me in that position, I need to know, because let me make my choice. Because then I can live with whatever choice I decide. If I have to sit there and tell everybody, I'm sorry, we can redo this again, I'm sorry to have wasted you guys' time. Matter of fact, you guys stay and enjoy the party until I find out what's going on with my people. I can't be a part of this. So if I find out she's okay, I'll return to you guys. If you guys are still here, I'll return. But give me my option. Don't take away my option because you want to give me a good night. Now I'm not having a good night. I'm no longer having a good night. We could have still made it a good night, but let me find out about my people, because this is my people. And that's why she had to cut them so deep, because it's like, you're not getting it right now. You have this attachment style that is, you're okay with people being this, and you still going to do what you got to do. I'm not. I'm holding tight to whoever I got in my life because I put them there for a reason. You know my situation from my past, and I'm glad that they gave us the mother situation first, because that helped us understand why she's so about her friend. That person is something special to me. I hold that dearly. I'm not playing about you. I don't play about her, and I don't play about my kids. You one of the three that I don't play about. You should know how I'm going to act in this moment, out of all people. I get, you might not care. And that's what she was really saying when she said you have no friends. And you might not care if yours get into an accident. But me right here, I need to go check on mine. So don't ever play with me like this. Because deep, what really happens, if something really is bad happening, so she could be all right now. And we've seen accidents go like this. You could be all right, you can make it to the hospital, and then all of a sudden something goes wrong. All of that is going to be placed on her later on, as she's going to fault herself. She's going to blame herself because I wasn't there for my friend. Then eventually, once she gets over the blaming of self, she's going to blame him because you knew. That can start, these type of things right here is those building blocks that end up leading to divorce, because that type of resentment lasts a very long time. And that wall gets thicker and thicker over that time. So that's not what he wanted to do. Me personally, I'll say, yeah, he didn't do the right thing. That's just me.
Strike against his name. That's a strike, whatever that is for DJ Quick. He thought that he can keep her in the party, and so he could enjoy it. Now I get part of him. Obviously, at the very beginning, yes, let her enjoy the surprise, etc., etc. Once you find out the information, you should just message her. You should have just told Ashley, "Hey, look, your friend's in the hospital. Well, we don't know if your friend's in the hospital. We just know that she's not. She's safe, but we just know that's all we know." And then left at that. But instead, he robbed her of the opportunity to be able to make that decision, like you said, Jay. And so she might have felt more angrier that, you let my friend, have this, have this moment with, well, not a moment, but like her friend can be without her in the most dire of situations and needs. And you robbed her of that opportunity to be able to do so and support her friend. You know what I mean? Like, so you're right. This is how resentment builds up. Calculating all the mistakes that you made and then totting them up and then be like, you know what? Two says, so I don't know. I mean, he'll have to think about that. Use wisdom next time. Do you get what I'm saying? Use wisdom. But yeah, no, we've reached the final hour mark. So, final thoughts, Jay. Just final thoughts.
Yeah, the episode is the season starting to heat up. I'm actually liking what I'm seeing from everybody. It's good to actually get to know them. I'm liking how vulnerable and open everybody is. With Winter, sweetie, that move wasn't good. I will see how it continues. Hopefully she can work her way back in with the girls, but not looking too good right now. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't her biggest fan last season, but I watch her lives and she seems like a really sweet soul. She seems like she has a good heart, but I think she's just making bad choices. And we seen that last season with her choice of men. So choosing how to do friendship, she's making bad choices some more. So I think she need to work on that part of herself, but hopefully she could get back in good graces. But we already know this season's heating up and I don't know, because it looked like everybody going to be exploding on everybody. So
everyone's gonna have a beef. I said, "Oh, baby." So, I don't know how Raina and Ashley get into it, but looks like they're gonna get into it. So we'll see.
And I know we didn't really touch on it, but when Jamie said, "When I see her, I'm gonna speak my mind," I was like, "Oh, sir." Well, I mean, she did speak on saying she got information on your kids and all that, so I guess he has a right to kind of say something. But keep it cool. Keep it cute.
The receipts were not even given what they need to give to.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, I don't even know why you need to entertain her when you see her. Like, you don't need to say anything.
You don't need to.
Let it go.
At this point, she's doing it on purpose, it seems.
Yeah. Just to get under their skin.
Just get under their skin instead of the show. But yeah, thank you, Jay, for that, man. I think it was some good conversation, especially about Jamie and Ash and about their, parenting in terms of being parented and being a parent. I think there's some good conversation around there as well. So anybody out there, I hope you've learned and been able to take some gems from us as well. So it's been good. We're going to be here next week for LMADC episode 4. But yeah, we want to definitely chop this up. And hopefully that Ash and Jamie see this and just see that, we want to be focused on this kind of content where we can actually help and speak some real truth to some of these situations that happen on a day-to-day basis. Do you know what I mean? Day-to-day basis, especially when it comes to parenthood. So many people
it's not just y'all. We go through it too in our regular lives. So we thank y'all for being a martyr, so to speak, for us.
Real split.
You putting your life out there for us. So thank you again to all of them. And thank you, Kojo, for having me. And thank you, audience, for being great tonight. Y'all always bring us blessings when you guys interact with us during the chat. So Appreciate you all. Make sure y'all hit that like too.
Exactly. Hit that like button, baby. Listen, guys, we're gonna like, share, subscribe as well for those of you who are new. And for those of you who are returnees, you know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. Listen, we're out here, baby. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. There's not much I wouldn't do. So be careful out there in them streets.